It's great to be here, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
For my first question, I was curious if you could expand upon our understanding of turbulence in the sense of physics and fluid dynamics,
Expand on your understanding of turbulence.
or lack thereof.
What is it you think you need to know about turbulence? Is there some specific application that the information will help you with that would allow us to narrow down the information for you? Because there is turbulence in many different scenarios and situations.
So more specifically, how turbulence is created in fluids and kind of a general understanding of why that happens and how it happens.
Why it happens, how it happens, all right. Being free-flowing as air or liquid or any other free-flowing material in that way, turbulence is going to be representative of a few different things. Number one, of course, it's going to be representative of what you would call the jostling of all the molecules as they work on each other, as they act on each other, representative of the different underlying structures that are represented by the different subatomic particles, the different energies within them, creating a combined effect that you call turbulence. This kind of discordant behavior is what is representative of the threshold, the crossing of the threshold between quantum coherence and decoherence. Turbulence is the decoherence of quantum effects to create what you call your macroscopic reality. Does this make sense to you?
Makes sense.
But it's following certain patterns, underlying schema, underlying templates that we have discussed, called things like phi ratios and Fibonacci sequences and so on and so forth. Fractals, in that sense. You follow?
Yes.
So turbulence is representative of quantum decoherence following underlying fractal templates that create your macroscopic physical experience. That would be a concise definition.
Great.
Does that help?
That helps a lot.
All right.
And then I was also curious, what dimension do you exist in?
We are moving into the idea of the fifth dimension because we are shifting from fourth density to fifth density. But in terms of the dimension of our alternate reality, is that what you're talking about?
No.
Or are you actually talking about our evolutionary process of frequency?
Yes.
Because remember, we're in an alternate dimension that operates 10 times faster than yours. But that's just a parallel reality. The idea of our evolution is taking us into fifth density, which is non-physical. That's why now, on the borderline between the two, we are what we call quasi-physical beings and exhibit qualities of both physical and non-physical beings in our reality.
Interesting. And in your reality, do you also have connections as this one where you channel with your future selves in higher dimensions as well?
Yes.
Interesting. And what's your primary purpose for interacting with us, or primary intention?
To expand our understanding of creation through all of its facets. And of course, we are family.
Beautiful.
Does this help?
Helps a lot. Can I meet you?
Perhaps someday.
Could we set a time?
Perhaps someday.
Can we set one now?
Perhaps someday.
Okay. And then you also mentioned a very interesting concept about how, as energies are accelerating during this period of time, we have a much narrower, so you could say, path to follow to keep going a certain direction without veering off.
Well, there's a paradox there. As you divest yourself of the things that are no longer relevant for you, in a sense, your path becomes narrower. It becomes like a razor's edge because there really is no other choice but that path. At the same time, when you do hone in on that singular path that is your preferred choice, that edge becomes wider and wider and wider and more stable for you. Because now there is nothing else to take up the room. You can fill the entire space with everything that's simply relevant for that path. So it actually becomes more stable even as you narrow it down. That's the paradox.
Interesting. So is it possible for someone to to veer in a way that separates from something they could have been, but was representative of their highest excitement more so than the one they chose?
Are you asking, is it possible to stray from your true path?
Yes.
Well, of course you can choose to misalign. Yes. But that can be your decision. You can change that course. Again, remember, the hallway you decided to walk down as a destiny, as a theme of exploration, still gives you the free will to choose how you walk down that hallway. And it doesn't mean you have to always open every door. You can decide to do that, or you can decide to leave some of them closed. You can decide, perhaps, to just plunk yourself down in the middle of the hallway and not progress further. Yes, of course. You can decide the way in which you experience the destiny you set up for yourself, the theme that you chose to explore in any number of ways, one of which includes the idea of not really exploring it, per se, or exploring the idea of not exploring it, which is part of the hallway, part of the path, at least as an option, as a potential choice. But it's up to you to determine whether or not that creates a flow in your life or resistance in your life to do so, and what you prefer to experience. Does that help?
Helps a lot. Thank you.
In a series of 5 books that are going to be delivered by Daryl. And so we're really excited to see this new development and to hear about these characters more completely and more deeply. Tomorrow's session is entitled 13 Months and Counting. And this is going to be about the fall of 2016 that Bashar has mentioned, where everything will change. And he's going to be giving us some more information about that and some of the signs to be looking for changes that will be coming. So we think that'll be a really interesting session to hear about. So that's basically what's on the menu for this weekend. And we do have some more events coming up in November. On November 7th, Bashar will be in, well, Daryl will be in Las Vegas, channeling Bashar. And then on the 14th, we'll be in San Francisco, November 14th. Again, we go to San Francisco about 2 times a year now, and we're starting to go to Vegas twice a year. So we're so glad that so many people are interested in joining us there. So the first thing we want to show you, again, is a little bit about the contact crystal, and then we'll talk about dolphins.
I just picked up one of your interesting little seed crystals for contact.
Yes.
I was curious if you could talk about that for a few moments.
Again, the idea is that as a child on my world, I was shown the idea of a central hexagonal crystal that existed within a giant, large artistic exhibit created by another contact specialist. The central crystal in that particular work is about, in terms of your size, about 3 feet across. The idea is that it is about the same color green, and around it are other crystals, each crystal added to the central crystal, which represents the first contact of our civilization with another, represents all the other contacts of all the other civilizations we have come into contact with, and constantly grows as more and more civilizations join the interstellar alliance, as you call it. But the idea is that that central crystal is the seed crystal that carries the vibration of contact itself and is representative of my family lineage, along with other family lineages that are also steeped into the idea of being contact specialists. So not only does the idea specifically of that crystal carry the vibration, generally speaking, that is conducive to contact with other civilizations, that particular vibration is also very specifically connected to our world and my family.
Very nice.
So, that is our way of welcoming you all to the family.
As far as permission slips go, obviously, as was explained, this is specifically tapping into the idea, the archetypal collective consciousness idea that there is a particular frequency or vibration that represents
the blending or connection between your civilization and other civilizations. That is one of the frequencies that is put into the charge, in a sense, that is represented by that particular idea, object, permission slip. Now, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to always use that idea, that object, because again, permission slips are what works for you. At the same time, and in conjunction with what we were saying earlier in this transmission as to how there is really no separation between intention and action, between the physicalization, the physical act being that demonstrates and in a sense actually creates simultaneously the intention. The physical act of having a symbol of that nature, a permission slip of that nature, is similar to the idea of physically casting your vote for contact. So the more votes are cast in whatever way that occurs, in whatever form the permission slip feels right for you, the more we can tally those votes, because not just of the intention of wanting contact, but the actual physical act of physicalizing it in some sort of physical way, a physical symbol that is representative of a physical action you have taken that is actually the casting of a vote. And that vote resonates very strongly in your collective consciousness to us. So it really truly changes the vibration of your collective reality. So that is what we wish to add about that idea.
So the next video we wanted to show you is one of the compilations of some experiences from our last dolphin workshop. And just want to mention that as we're starting to accelerate and our frequency is going up, it allows us, when we're with the dolphins, to really take advantage of their frequency, because they're in a very deep, joyful state. And so when you get around them, you don't even realize why it's happening, but suddenly you just feel so elated. And they literally have found changes in your brain when you're hearing the sounds that they make. And there's so much more to them. I mean, the dolphins in and of themselves are like a mystery school, you know, because they take you on journeys to places that you've never gone before. So we really want to acknowledge them and also to talk about the idea of their spiritual nature and how that is intersecting with our spiritual nature. Bashar recently mentioned that our brains are actually designed to interact with each other. So I think there's a lot more coming about this, and we're seeing that connection between the research into their consciousness and their language and all of that, and how that relates to our evolution. And we know that Bashar will eventually be more forthcoming on even more details about this connection we have with them. So if you're interested in experiencing the dolphins, this in an Essassani bubble reality, this is the kind of experience you can have.
I wanna glide through the open sea, side by side with you next to me. Oh, when the timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by right back to me. Oh, won't you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea? I wanna dive so deeply through the crystal waters of the world anew. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. I'm not expecting you to understand. You're never gonna find me back on land. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. All those moments together I do treasure. It doesn't really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
Effortlessly and joyfully slipping through the sea. Streamlined like a dolphin, streamlined like a whale. Weaving, diving, bobbing, smoothly gliding, effortlessly through life, slipping through the sea.
I wanna glide through the open sea, side by side with you next to me. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll glide right back to me. I wanna slide through the ocean blue, right beside you, 2 by 2. Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. Oh, you be my guide as we're slipping through the sea. All those moments together I do treasure. It doesn't really get any better. I wish I could have stayed with you for the rest of my day.
In unity, in harmony, in joy and in love, you drift into the depths of the deep blue sea.
Oh, and the timing's right, you'll slide right back to me. As we're slipping through the sea.
So our next workshop in Hawaii is October 18th to the 24th. We have one spot left on that workshop, and then we have openings for February 21st to the 27th, 2016. And then we now have opened up on the Whales of Atlantis, Swimming with the Humpback Whales, for 2017. We have, I think, 9 spots available for that. So if you're interested, come visit our website, bashar.org or dolphindreamsofhawaii.com. All right, so, are you all waiting for something? Okay, it's my pleasure to introduce the great channel, Daryl Enka.
Good evening, Bashar.
And to you, good day. Making sure you're all still awake.
Yes. You raised my interest yesterday about the moon.
The moon, yes.
Well, many of us know that it has a stabilizing effect on the Earth, as you mentioned.
A balancing effect, yes.
Yes. What made it possible to give the moon this function?
The idea of the alteration of some of its interior to allow it to manipulate electromagnetic fields and other high-frequency energies in a very specific way that allows it to begin to act as a magnifying lens for those frequencies and allow those frequencies to be directed and focused on the Earth and interact with the Earth's gravitational and electromagnetic field in which you are immersed.
Who did that?
Another race of beings. We are not allowed to say who at this time.
Okay. You mentioned the Earthlings that left the Earth before the 11,000 catastrophe.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit about their belief system when they lived here on Earth?
Their belief system.
Yes.
In what way specifically?
Their culture, their way of living, how much it's different from how we are sort of existing today.
All right. One of the cultures that left long ago always lived in circular structures. There was never a sharp corner anywhere in their structures. And in living in these circular structures, they believed it represented the idea of the cycles of the universe, the cycles of creation, which is why they chose to live in them that way. And in certain rituals and in certain ceremonies, they would gather in certain structures built specifically to amplify and magnify their awareness of those cycles so that they could see ahead in the idea you call time and understand where and how they fit in these cycles and when exactly it would be necessary for them to move on from this world, as this world was only temporary for them, having come from somewhere else, settled on Earth for a while, and then recognized when it is they needed to move on their journey to gather more and more experiences that would be representative of exactly where their culture needed to go.
Okay. In your contact net,
Do you mean our
have-
interstellar alliance?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have contact with them today?
We have contact with what became their descendants, yes.
Okay. Do you have any relation to them? Sort of heritage?
Genetically?
Yes.
Not directly, no. There have been interminglings for a variety of reasons in a variety of ways genetically, but again, we are not allowed to go into that fully at this time. But that's a rare occasion with this particular species.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You are very welcome. By the way, the beings that to some degree still exist on your planet, called the Maya, are the remnants of an extraterrestrial civilization, most of which also left your planet. It isn't the idea that extraterrestrials visited the Maya civilization. The Maya are actually the descendants of the extraterrestrials that came and stayed and built many of those cities that you attribute to the Maya civilization. Then most of them left, leaving some behind to become the Maya you understand today. But the Maya, who are educated in their own history, know this.